Hi everyone, this is Tanner here from the Man to Man Coach Podcast YouTube channel. Welcome to my way too early 2022 NFL predictions for the NFC South. You might be saying, well, the regular season for 2021 just ended. How are you doing this? Well, we do not know the schedule in terms of when these games are going to be played, but we do know every team's opponents. So I thought I'd make a list of all the games and I would predict them. Now I have these teams listed in the order they finished. So for the NFC South, the team that finished last is the Carolina Panthers. Third is the Atlanta Falcons. Second is the New Orleans Saints, and first is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm gonna go and predict every team's games and then kind of some of the best players, who's gonna regress, stuff like that. I think it'll be cool to do. So the Panthers, they finished last this year, and I think they'll do the same next year. For me, I think there's a lot of issues with the Panthers. I think one is the quarterback situation. Sam Darnold didn't work out. Cam Newton's regressing. He's going downhill. Even if they draft someone, I'm not very confident. And now all that's to do with the coaching of Matt Rule. He just has not impressed me, and he's staying with the Panthers. And then also, I do like this team's defense at some points, and I do think that'll be why they win the games they do. But ultimately, I think they play a lot of teams who have a lot of shootout capabilities, these high scoring games. I just don't think the Panthers will be able to catch up with them. So starting off the division games, they play the Buccaneers, Falcons, Saints twice. I think they get swept by the Buccaneers. That's been a common occurrence here ever since Tom Brady's been in Tampa Bay. Just Buccaneers are a way better team. Falcons, it seems like they always split with, and I think that trend continues. The Saints, I actually think could be a bit of a better team, and I actually think the Saints sweep them. I know usually they split with New Orleans, but I don't see that happening. So the NFC South plays the NFC West and the AFC North next season, and those are very tough divisions. I think this NFC West is going to be tough for the Panthers. I know they usually have good luck against Arizona. I don't have that happening. I do think they beat the Seahawks. I think the Panthers secondary actually stacks up pretty well against them. The 49ers, of the running game, I have them losing. And then the LA Rams as well. I think they'll lose too as well. I think it's just way better coaching there. So I think the NFC West is going to be very tough for the Panthers. Then their opponent from the NFC East, NFC North is dictated by the Panthers' position. So the Panthers finish last. So they're the Giants. So last place from those divisions, they play the Giants. Schedule can be weird, but that's how it works. I do think they win. Both teams I don't think will be very good. I think both the Giants and Panthers are going to be next year, very much bottom of the NFL. But I just like the Panthers defense a bit more. Guys like Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns as secondary. Hopefully things work out there. And then the Lions finish last in the NFC North, so the Panthers have them a bit of a big cat battle. I think they do beat Detroit. I think Detroit's going to be a team where they'll show some more fight next year. But I do think the Panthers are kind of just a bit of a better unit at this moment. That could change. The AFC North, this is going to be very tough for them. The Ravens, in my opinion, I just think have a more high potent offense. I think Lamar Jackson and everyone's going to run right through them. And yeah, I don't think they'll be able to keep up with them. The Bengals, I think will be pretty good next year. And they have a great offense, so I think the Panthers lose. Steelers, I went back and forth on. You do have someone like Christian McCaffrey on this Panthers offense who is really good. I just think Mike Tomlin as Steelers defensive coaching is really talented. And I think they'll lose. I do think they beat the Browns. The Browns have a good O-line, and I think the Panthers could actually put some pressure on whoever the quarterback is and stop the run with their front seven. So yeah, AFC North, NFC West, very tough. And then the Broncos, this was something I went back and forth on. Denver, for me, is very similar to Carolina. Great defenses, potential rookie quarterback or an veteran. Broncos could have a new head coach. This game's at home, though. This one I'm really going back and forth on. I do think Denver ultimately wins, though. So that is what I have going on for the Panthers. I only have them being the Browns, Lions, Giants, Seahawks, and Falcons to go 5-12. I think it'll be a very struggling season for Carolina. The best player I think will be Christian McCaffrey, an excellent receiving and running back. Breakout player I think will be Brian Burns. Now, if you don't know Brian Burns, he was this really great edge rusher coming out of the NFL draft a couple years ago, and he actually made the Pro Bowl for the first time this season. But not too many people know his name. I think Brian Burns will have double-digit sacks. I think he'll be one of the bright spots of this team. I do think he wins. Regressing player, I'm gonna go with DJ Moore. This was tough. I almost put Stephon Gilmore, but I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense because his age. But DJ Moore, he's been a really great wide receiver, but I just think with the quarterback play, Moore might not have that great of a season. So the Panthers, I think it's gonna be a really hard year, and I do think Matt Rule gets fired after this one. Alrighty. Oh, I don't know how the Falcons got there. Hello, Falcons. Alrighty. So now we have the Atlanta Falcons, which on paper, I really don't like them. However, However, I do think they're actually going to be a surprise playoff team. You might be saying why? Well, they kind of remind me of this year's Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders this year in the playoffs. All that has to do with a good, smart veteran quarterback, the defensive players who are really good, playing really good, and an offense that works in rhythm. And that's kind of why I see the Falcons being next year. I think they keep Matt Ryan. I do. I think he's a good veteran quarterback. The guys we have on the defense there, Grady Jarrett, AJ Terrell, who are really good. You have a high draft pick, you could get an edge rusher, and the offensive rhythm under Arthur Smith is somewhat getting there. So I do think there's a chance this team could be kind of that number 7 seed. Let's see if it pans out, but I'm leaning towards yes. So division. In the Tampa Bay Tom Brady era, the Falcons have, I don't think, beaten the Buccaneers. I do think that changes. I think they get one win. Them and the Saints usually split. I do think the Saints will be good, and I have them splitting with the Panthers. So that's what I have there for the division, going 500 equal. The NFC West. The Cardinals I actually have them winning against. This might seem like a shocker, but AJ Terrell is a fantastic corner. I think he'll lock up guys like DeAndre Hopkins very well. The Cardinals have issues covering the middle of the field. You have Kyle Pitts there. I think they win there. The Seahawks, I have them beating. I don't think very highly of Seattle. I think Atlanta could match up very well. The 49ers are going to be very close. Both teams have that kind of run play action scheme. I like the 49ers defense a bit more, so I do think the 49ers will beat them. And then the LA Rams, I'm going to have an upset. I think the Falcons win. The Rams, linebackers, like the interior linebacker kind of struggle. Yeah, outside of Von Miller, but interior, I think they struggle. And kind of going to this Raiders comp, the Raiders this year, they beat the Ravens. So upsets happen with these type of teams. And they played a Washington football team who I think could be solid. So I actually think they might drop one there. And then the Bears, for me, I think they're a rebuilding year. I think they can win. Then the AFC North. So this one was really tough. Ravens, I do think they lose to. I think the Ravens are going to have a really great season coming back healthy. The Bengals, they had a really good year. I think this is a high-scoring game. Matt Ryan, Joe Burrow. I'm going to go with the Falcons. The Steelers' defense, though, I could see them kind of clamping down. And then the Browns, I do think they win against. And then the LA Chargers, this was a really tough one for me because it's like, okay, where are they at next year? I just trust Justin Herbert so much, and I love the way he plays the game. And yes, I've spoken so highly of A.J. Terrell, but you need a number 2 corner for someone like Herbert. I do think you lose, though. However, that's a pretty good season for the Falcons. You won 3 division games: Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, Bears, Bengals, Browns. That is 9-8. I think the Raiders were 10-7, but the Eagles, they made the playoffs 9-8. So that's why I have the Falcons. Their best player, this was either between Kyle Pitts or A.J. Terrell. I'm going to go with A.J. Terrell. I think that he established himself as a fantastic corner this year, and I think he's going to continue next campaign. Breakout player, I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts, and I might be saying, well, wait, Tanner, Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards. Yeah, that's true. That's really great, but I think Kyle Pitts is going to be like a monster. I really think that he's going to go to this level of like, oh my gosh, wow. I do think Cordell Patterson regresses a bit. I know that the season he had is very kind of unlikely to repeat. So this might be kind of an answer, but I think he'll be solid. I just don't know if he'll be that great. But yeah, the Falcons, I have them at 9-8. All right, the New Orleans Saints here. This is a team that's just very well coached. And I think quarterback is not really a question mark. Jameis Winston is still there. We know what he can do. He's played well. This is a good rookie class. And then Sean Payton scheme is really easy to, access. Michael Thomas was out this year, so coming back in 2022, you have him, you have Kamara, you have a really great defense. Cap issues, yeah, are a thing, but I really do like the Saints. Now, I actually do think that oh, they split with the Buccaneers. Um, I think that for me, I know that Tom Brady has struggled against them, but I don't know. I think Tom Brady is going to beat them eventually here. And then looking at the other division games, I think they split with Atlanta, and then I think they sweep the Panthers. So let's go to the NFC West. Alright, Cardinals, Saints. That's a really tough one. Saints have a really great defense. Cardinals have a really good offense. You have a really good secondary. I do think they actually beat the Cardinals. Seahawks, I do think they beat the Seahawks. 49ers, I think that they have the defense for them. The Rams, though, I think they struggle with. I think teams are going to be more of a downfield vertical threat. That's where the Saints are going to struggle. You might be saying that's what the Cardinals are, but the Cardinals go more in the middle. That's what I have seen with the Saints. They play the Eagles, which I like the Eagles next year. I do as an Eagles fan. I think the Saints defense with guys like Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan are really good on against the perimeter, and especially the run defense, and that's what Eagles do well. Packers, I do think they lose to. I think Green Bay is going to be really great. I do think Aaron Rodgers stays. The Ravens. This one is in New Orleans. Like I said about the Saints setting the perimeter, I do think they beat the Ravens. I think they have the defense to beat Lamar Jackson. I think that's going to be a really great game, though. The Bengals. Vertical passing team, I think they lose. Steelers, I think these two teams are going to fight out. Steelers have a really great edge. Saints have a good line. This one's tough. I do have them um, winning. Then you have the Browns. I do have them losing, just kind of an upset. I do think the Browns just. I know I've been kind of trashing on them, so this might seem weird, but I just think that the Saints are good at kind of setting the perimeter edge rushing. The Browns are really good up the middle, so I do have them losing to the Browns. Then the Raiders. This was a really hard one to decipher. Like, okay, where's this team at? I do ultimately have them losing to the Raiders in a shootout. I just trust Derek Carr more than the Saints quarterback. I think the Bengals Raiders games will be instances where the Saints not having an elite quarterback is going to hurt them. I think most of these games they'll be good with quarterback. I do think there'll be a couple instances though where they struggle. But yeah, that's the Saints season. So them being the Ravens and Steelers, the Eagles, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks. But I kind of yeah, Ravens, Steelers, Eagles, Cardinals, Seahawks, 49ers, Panthers twice, Buccaneers, Falcons. So that is 10 and 7. Best player for them, I do think it's going to be Cameron Jordan. Um, he's been pretty good the past couple of years, but I think he's going to kind of have this just really great campaign. He could be there for breakout player, but I do have Jordan just being the best player in that defense. I do have Marquez Callaway being the breakout player. For those who do not know him, he was a wide receiver on the team this year. He got some looks and he was good downfield, but he was a number one guy, so he had a lot of stress. I think Michael Thomas coming back is going to pave way for Callaway to be a really good number two. Okay, it's an A. Okay. And then a player that's regressing, this was kind of a tough one to see who is someone that I think just not going to be as elite. And I think that is going to be a bit of Taysom Hill. I know this is kind of a weird choice, but for me, I just think teams kind of know where Taysom Hill's at. I don't think he'll be starting, but on the trick plays, I just don't know if he'll be there. So I do have the Saints going 10 and 7. Then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not a lot to say here about them. I mean, they are a really great team. Yeah, I really don't think there's going to be any difference here. I just don't see. I have them splitting. Okay, yeah. Alrighty, so I have them splitting with the Falcons and Saints. I think they'll sweep the Panthers. Oh man. Alrighty, NFC West. So the Cardinals. That's gonna be, I think, a really great one. By the way, I gotta say, I love this NFC South schedule. I think a lot of these games against the AFC North are gonna be a lot of fun, especially playing the AFC West for the 17th game. You got Chiefs, Buccaneers, Saints, Raiders. Just a lot of really fun games for this NFC South division. Cardinals. I think that's tough. I do think, though, they have the linebackers to contain someone like Kyle Murray. I think they win there. Seahawks. I think this will be a really close game. I actually do think the Seahawks win. Just kind of the way things go with Russell Wilson versus Tom Brady. I know I've really have trashed on the Seahawks a bit, but I think that could be kind of an upset game. And, when you look at the NFL, it's hard to do because you're like, okay, upset or not. You kind of have to think about that here and there. 49ers, that'll be a really great game. I think they win, have the linebackers. Rams, I know they struggled against, though. I think, again, Tom Brady, he's not going to get beat by the same defense 3 times. Cowboys, that's going to be a great one. I do think, though, Tampa Bay has the defense for them, and then the Packers, they just seem to match up very well against. The AFC North, I think they have the defense for the Ravens. The Bengals, I do see them losing to in a high-scoring game. The Buccaneers might lose some free agents like Chris Godwin, and I think the corner situation is good, not elite. So I do see a team like the Bengals with Joe Burrow having a really good game. However, a team like Baltimore, who's not as big passing, I think they could win against. That's kind of how I view the Buccaneers defense. Um, the Steelers, I love their defense. I think this will be a low-scoring game, Tom Brady versus the Steelers, but you got to look at the Pittsburgh offense. I really don't see it there. And the Browns, I mean, Levante David, Devin White, excellent linebackers to take care of Nick Chubb. The Chiefs, Mahomes versus Brady. What is this, round 4 or 5? Because you have the Super Bowl. I think this will be round 4 or 5. This is a really tough one, and we'll be at Tampa Bay. And just because we haven't had success, I think they do win. So, yeah, the Buccaneers, I have them only losing to the Bengals, Seahawks, Saints, and Falcons. That would be 13-4. Will win the division. Best player for me, this was a tough one because there's a lot of players I really do love, and saying the best player, I'm going to go with Tom Brady. I think he's going to have a lot of options to have some high-scoring games. He had an excellent season this year. I don't see why that wouldn't change. I'm going to go with my man, Devin White. I love Devin White. And he's been a really great player, and he's very much respected kind of by like the NFL analyst side. But I think the overall general football population is going to know the name of Devin White. And regressing play, I'm going to go Sean Murphy Bunting. He's been a solid corner. I just think he might struggle a bit this season. But that is how I think the NFC South goes. So I think the Buccaneers go 13-4, win it. I think the Saints maybe make the playoffs at 10-7. We'll see if the Falcons can 9-8, and the Panthers I have at 5-12. Let me know what y'all think. I think the Panthers and Buccaneers predictions are not too risky, but I definitely think the Saints and Falcons one's a bit more hotter takes. But I just really like what I see here from those teams, what they're trying to develop. I'm very excited for the NFC South. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of fun games in there. And I think I'll be doing the NFC North or West next. One of those two. Let me know what you all thought. This was really fun to do the way too early predictions. I'm interested to see how these do when the schedule comes out, after the draft, after free agency. But I just want to get this out. Thank you all so much for watching. Till then, take care and have a good one.